Hi everyone, welcome to our second recap of the video series doing targeting GCE O-level mathematics subject. Today we will discuss two more questions prepared which will cover up some important theories in the syllabus. So let's move into our third question of the series. So this will be the third question. So we kindly request you to take down the question by pausing the video and try yourself before looking into the workings. So let's move forward with the workings. So the first part says a company that provides the transportation facility for tourists have two buses with different seat capacities. The facility can be provided to 110 tourists if the first bus covers 2 rounds and the second takes 1 round with each tourist occupying a seat. 260 tourists can be taken if the first bus covers 4 rounds while the second takes 3 rounds with each tourist occupying a seat. By taking x and y as two variables, build up two simultaneous equations. So if we take our first instance, now the question has two instances. In the first instance, it says 110 tourists can be transported if the first bus covers 2 rounds and the second takes 1 round. In our second instance, it states 260 tourists can be taken if first bus covers 4 rounds while the second takes 3 rounds. So let's build up the two simultaneous equations. So let's take the number of seats in one bus as x and in the other bus as y. So in our first instance, if the number of seats of the first bus is x and it covers 2 rounds, the number of tourists that can be transported is x times 2. And if the number of seats in the second bus is y and it covers 1 round, the number of tourists that can be carried out is y times 1. Therefore, 2 times x plus y times 1 which will be equal to 110. So 2x plus y is equal to 110, which will become our first equation. In the second instance, it states 260 tourists can be transported if the first bus covers 4 rounds while the second takes 3 rounds. So x times 4 plus 3 times y will be equals to 260. So 4 times x plus 3 times y is equal to 260. 4x plus 3y is equal to 260, which will be our second equation. So let's move to the next question. Find the number of tourists that can be transported by each bus in a round. So that means we need to find x and y using the two simultaneous equations. So let's find x and y by solving 1 and 2. So this will be our 1, which is 2x plus y equals to 110. And our second equation is 4x plus 3y is equal to 260. So now you can see in the first equation, it is y. In the second equation, it is 3y. So in order to remove y, I will multiply my first equation by 3. Once you multiply my first equation by 3, it will become 6x plus 3y is equal to 3 times 110. So it will be 2x plus y into 3, that means this side into 3 minus my second equation. So I multiply my first equation by 3 and deduct the second equation from it. So 2x plus y into 3 minus 4x plus 3y is equal to 110 into 3 minus 260. So the two left-hand sides are in the left-hand side and the right-hand sides are solved in the right-hand side. So once you solve it, it will be 3 times 2x, 6x, 3 times y, 3y, minus 4x, minus 3y is equal to 330 minus 260. So once you solve this, you can see 3y, 3y get cancelled and 6x minus 4x is equal to 2x. And once you solve 330 minus 260, it will be 70. Therefore, if you subject x, you need to divide the both sides by 2. Once you divide like that, you will get x is equal to 35. Now substitute the value you got, which is x equal to 35, in your first equation. You can either find the value of y by substituting for x in your second equation as well. Here I substitute in my first equation. So 2x plus y is equal to 110. So now you know for the value of x, so substitute the value you got for x. So 2 times 35 plus y is equal to 110. So once you subject y, you can see 70 plus y equals to 110. So you remove this 70 by deducting 70 from this side. So once you do something to your left hand side, you have to do the same thing to the right hand side. So y will be 110 minus 70. So y will be 40. So the number of passengers that can be carried in each bus are 35 and 40. Now it states, if the first bus charges a fee of 4,500 rupees per tourist and the second bus charges 5,000 rupees per tourist, what is the total amount charged from 110 tourists? So since it states 110 tourists, it means our first instance. Now we know in the first instance, it carries 110 tourists. So since at the first instance, first bus covers 2 rounds and the second bus covers 1 round, the total number of passengers will be, the total amount charged will be 4,500 per tourist, and the number of tourists that can be carried in the first bus if it travels 2 rounds is 2 times 35. 35 will be the number of seats in the first bus, and 5,000 is the charge from per tourist in the second bus, and it covers only 1 round and has 40 seats. So the total number of tourists that can be carried using the second bus is 40. So 40 passengers and 5,000 per passenger means if you multiply those two together, you will get the total amount charged from the tourists that travel in your second bus. So if you add these two together, you will get the total amount charged from tourists in your first instance. So once you solve 4,500 into 2 into 35, you will get 315,000. And once you multiply 5,000 by 1 into 40, you get 200,000. So the total amount will be 515,000 rupees will be charged from all the tourists at the first instance. Now let's move to the second question. It states x squared y minus xy squared minus x squared plus xy. So you are given an algebraic expression you need to factorize. Now you know here you have 4 terms. So you separate from here, separate from the middle, so that you have 2 terms in your left hand side, 2 terms in your right hand side. So if you take the first 2 terms, you can see x is common in both terms and y is common in both terms. So you take xy product from the 2 terms as a common factor. So once you take xy out, you can see x will remain here. 1x will remain in the first term. And once you take y out, you can see, if you take xy out, x will go and y will go and another y will remain here in the second term. So if you take xy out, in the first 2 terms, it will be x minus y. And in the second 2 terms, that means the third and the fourth term, you can see x is common in both. So if you take minus x out, in order to get minus x squared, you should have another x, right? And if you take minus x out from the second term, you should have minus y in order to get plus xy. So you can see once you solve this, it will be minus x into x minus x squared minus x into minus y plus xy. Now you can see this is my first term and this is my second term. So I have simplified the 4-term expression to a 2-term expression. So where x minus y will be another common term, right? Common factor. So you can take xy out, x minus y out. So once you take x minus y out from these two terms, you can see xy remain here and x remains here. So x minus y into xy minus x. Now, if you can see this second term, what has remained in our uh, brackets, you can see xy minus x. So x is common in this term and this term. So you can take x out as well. So once you solve it, you can see x minus y. If you take x out, y will remain here and minus 1 remain here. So if you multiply and solve it, you can see xy minus x. It comes as it is. So if you have the simplified version, it will be x minus y times x times y minus y. So these three are the factors of the above expression. Now, if you move to the third question, it states expressed in the form of indices. Now, the given expression is given in the logarithmic form. You can see log 8 4096 is equal 4. Log to the base 8, log 4096 to the base 8 is 4. So you know, in a logarithmic expression, this value is your base and this is your index and this will be the value. So if you are to represent this in the index form, you can see 8 to the power 4 will be 4096, right? So this is the base, this is the index, this is the value. 8 to the power 4 is equal to 4096. So the base comes here and the index comes here and the value goes to the other side of the equation mark. So that is how you express the log values in an index form. Now this will be the fourth question of the video. So you can pause the video and you can try yourself before looking into the workings. So this will be the other part of the same question. So let's move with the workings. So the question 4, it states, the first part states, the area of the given triangle is 3 meters squared. By taking the height and the length of the base as y and x respectively, develop an expression for the area of the triangle. Now we know the length of the base is x and the perpendicular height is y. So you know area of a triangle is equal to half into length of the base into the perpendicular height. So you know area is given as 3 meters squared and half comes as it is. Length of the base is x and the perpendicular height is y. So once you solve this equation, cross multiplying and subjecting xy to your left hand side, you can get xy is equal to 6. If you multiply 3 times 2, you get 6. And if you multiply x times y, you get xy. So xy equal to 6. So this will be the expression that you can obtain using the area of the triangle equation. So let's move on. So in the second question, it states the structure of the base of a water tank in an apartment scheme is shown in the figure. So it is in a hexagon shape, right? And the hexagon shape, and it consists of six triangles that we have discussed earlier in the question, right? Earlier in the first part of the question. So the volume of the tank is 18 cubic meter and the height of the cylindrical body is x minus y. Build up an expression for the volume of the tank and solve it to find the values of x and y. So let's see. Base area of the tank. Now you know this is the base. This hexagon shape is the base and it consists of 6 triangles which we have discussed earlier. In that it states the area of this triangle is 3 cubic. Area of this one triangle is 3 meters square, 3 square meter. So area of one triangle is 3 square meter. So the area of 6 triangles will be the area of the base of this tank, which is 6 times 3 meters square. So the area of the base will be 18 meters square. Now let's do the volume. Volume of the tank will be the area, cross-sectional area, that means the base area of the tank into the perpendicular height. So once we know the cross-sectional area, it is 18. So the volume is given as 18 cubic meter. So the volume will be equals to the cross-sectional area we have found earlier, which is 18 meters squared. So 18 into the perpendicular height is x minus y, which is given in the question. It is data. So 18 is equal to 18 times x minus y. So once you solve it, you can see 18 get cancelled and 1 is equal to x minus y. So this will be our first equation. And from the earlier part, we have found that xy is equal to 6. You can refer to your first part answer, xy is equal to 6. We got this expression from the area of the triangle. So from the volume of the tank, you get x minus y is equal to 1. So this will be our first equation. Xy equal to 6 is our second equation. And you can subject x here, right? Once you subject x here, it will be 6 over y, right? Once you subject x here, it will be 6 over y. So this will be my second equation. Now by solving these two simultaneous equations, you can find the values of x and y. So let's find the values. So in the first equation, it states 1 equals to x minus y. And in the second equation, it states x is equal to 6 over y. Now if you substitute for x in your 1, you can find the value of y. Substitute for x in 1. So 1 will be equals to, for x you can put 6 over y here, 6 over y minus y. Now you can see instantly, now if I show you in the pen, you can see this is y over 1, right? So 1 is equal to 6 over y minus y over 1. So you have a common, you need to make a common denominator here. So here it is y, here it is 1. So once you multiply this denominator by y, you will get the common denominator. But if you do something to your denominator, you have to do same thing to your numerator. So once you do that, you will gain 6 over y minus y squared over y. So you have the common denominator, so you can add the numerators together. So it will be 6 minus y squared. Since it is minus, it comes as it is, right? So hope you can get that. Let's remove this part. So once you solve that, you can see 1 is equal to 6 minus y squared over y. So if you solve it, you can see I have cross multiply here. I have removed y from this side. So once you to remove y, it is acting as a division. So to remove y, I need to multiply by y. And if you are doing something to your right hand side, you have to do the same thing to your left hand side. So y get cancelled here, and this y will be 1 times y equals to y. So once you do that, y will be equal to 6 minus y squared. So you can obtain a quadratic equation, y squared, you put y squared to this side plus y, and you take 6 to the other side, all the terms into one side, you will obtain a quadratic equation, which is y squared plus y minus 6 equal to 0. Now you need to factorize this equation in order to find the value of y. So let's factorize the equation. So here also I have mentioned earlier in the first video that you can solve a quadratic equation either by completing squares or splitting your second term. So here also, since it's a simple equation, I have used the splitting method. So I have splitted the second term as 3y minus 2y. So you can see plus 3 minus 2, you will get plus y here, and plus 3 into minus 2, you get minus 6. So y squared plus 3y minus 2y minus 6 equal to 0. So I have splitted my 3-term quadratic equation to a 4-term quadratic equation. Now you consider these two terms together and these two terms together. So you can see in these two terms, y is common and I have taken y out. So once you take y out from this, you will obtain y here. The y will remain in the brackets. And once you take y out, 3 will remain in the brackets. From these two terms, if you take minus 2 out, y will remain here and plus 3 will remain here, right? So once you solve it, you can see minus 2 times y minus 2y minus 2 times plus 3 will be minus 6. So will be equal to 0. Now this is another term, this is another term. So I have simplified my 4-term equation to a 2-term equation. This will be my first term, this will be my second term. So from those two terms, you can see y plus 3 is common. You can take y plus 3 out. So once you take y plus 3 out, y remain in the first term, minus 2 will remain in the second term. So now you know it has a multiplication of two factors is equal to 0. You can equate each factor to 0 separately. So y plus 3 will be 0 or y minus 2 will be equal to 0. Now y equal to minus 3 or y equals to 2. Now we know this is a length. Y is a length. So since it is a length, it cannot take a negative value. So this is the way of omitting, right? This is the logic behind the omitting. So why you omit minus 3? Y is the length. So it cannot be negative. Therefore, y value is 2 meters. So once you know y is equal to, from the second equation, you can see x is equal to 6 over y. So x will be is equal to 6 over y is 2. So x is equal to 6 over 2, which is 3 meters. Right. Now let's move to the next part. It states, when the tank is filled with water to a certain level, if the time taken to remove water completely from the tank is t, it satisfies the inequality 3 times t minus 1 minus 2t is less than or equal to 1797. So it's asked, find the time taken to remove water completely from the tank if it is fully filled with water. So you know this is the equation, this is the inequality that is given to us, 3 times t minus 1 minus 2t less than or equal to 1797. So if you solve it, if you simplify it, if you subject t in this inequality, you can see 3 times t minus 3 times minus 1 minus 3 minus 2t will be less than or equal to 1797. So 3t minus 2t will be t, and you can put this minus 3 to the other side in order to subject t. So 1797, if you put minus 3 to the other side, it becomes a plus 3. So t will be less than or equal to 1797 plus 3. So which is t is less than or equal to 1800. So the maximum value of t is 1800. So since the question says the tank is fully filled with water if it takes its maximum time, you know, if the tank is filled up, if it, let's take, if the time taken to remove water, if the tank is filled up to this level is t1 and this says t2, and if it is full it is t3, you know, it is obvious that t3 will be the highest time taken since it is fully filled, right? The time taken to remove the completely water from the tank, if it is fully filled with water, is higher than the other capacities. So the time taken, since the tank is at its maximum capacity, t will take its maximum. So what's the value of t? So t can take less than or equal to 1800. So t can be from 0 to 1800. T can take any value. So the highest value of t is 1800. So the tank capacity tank is at its maximum capacity. T will take its maximum value, which is t equals to 1800 seconds. Now it says, hence find the rate at which water flows from the tap in cubic meter per second. Now it states hence. Hence means now we have found earlier from the question, if we have found T. So from using this T, we need to find the rate of water flows, right? So we know the rate is equal to volume divided by time. That is the basic equation. So we know the volume is 18 cubic meters. It is given in the question as data. And the time taken is 1800 seconds. That is that we have found earlier. So once you solve it, it will be 0.01 cubic meter per second, which is the rate at which water flows from the tap in cubic meters per second. So with that, we will wrap up the session and hope to see you all in our third recap with some more important theories. Until then, stay safe and goodbye.